Well, you can do a lot with communication, and because communication studies is that umbrella of theory and practice, depending on the programs that you can get into, you can really focus it into different things. So, for example, this, right? Like podcasting and the production portion of it, script writing, like everything that goes along with that is that technical, practical side. But then there's also public relations. And that's different from marketing because public relations is more the human relations side of it. So that's like building the relationships, building, community partnerships and all of that stuff, where they'll do the content and stuff like that, and that sort of writing for e-commerce. So there's just so many different things you can focus in on. It's not going to be anything that's going to be clinical, right? That's going to be more psychology and things like that. It's not going to be like film production or anything like that, because that's very, very technical and has a degree of its own. But this is going to be stuff that you can do that's soft skills, so interpersonal skills and things like that. So like, what games do you play?
Any games. The mainstream, you got 2K, GTA, I got God of War, I got Halo, I know everything.
So you like the RPGs and like the, and the group game. Do you play anything like PvP or?
PvP, I guess what? Destiny has PvP.
Okay, yeah, Destiny does.
Halo got PvP. So a little bit of everything.
A little bit?
Shoot, even on the phone, Clash of Clans, I play that too.
Yeah, okay,
so.
yeah, phone games, those count, Okay.
We Fit.
Yeah,
We Fit.
I have not played that in a hot minute, but
see, we're talking about it right now, right?
Yeah.
And like I heard, them mumbling, like, what are they talking about? Like we Fit, right? And so there's some culture, right, for people who quote unquote play games and people who quote unquote don't play games, right? If we're gonna put people in those categories. And so my area of study was particularly the culture of of video games. So like how we formed fan groups, right, around a certain game, or what we were talking about certain games. And then through textual and rhetorical analysis, you can really get out the dialogue of what people are saying underneath. So yeah, they're talking about Halo, but what are they actually talking about? Well, they're actually talking about nostalgia, or they're talking about health crises, right? Or they're leaning on these particular groups of people to help them through hard times. So it's not just games, right? It's what surrounds the games and how we experience them. And so that's what I looked at, particularly group cohesion. So I looked at game satisfaction, how cohesive the groups were, meaning how well that they operated and did tasks together, and then the game outcomes. So did they win the game, and et cetera. And so like essentially what I was looking at was how would the cohesive groups operate better than the groups that weren't cohesive. And I actually found that wasn't true. So actually the in video games, particularly PvP, people need conflict in order to move forward. Otherwise, they lag in the game. So it was some pretty interesting stuff. I actually think it's going to improve it. And that's why one of the reasons why I use it in my classes. And I let you guys, use it to a certain extent, not for cheating, obviously.
confirm.
Do not cheat.
We do not cheat using AI.
Gives ideas.
It does give ideas, but it gives us that idea generation, right? Or like it can take those more mundane tasks off of our workload so that we can actually maybe do the thought work instead of okay, I need to make a list of this many things. I can have AI do it, and then I could do the thought work, right? And start thinking more about how to move forward, right? So if we take that like base concept and look at how that might affect communication in general, I think it'll actually open us up for more interpersonal relationships because it's taking the tasks out, right? So historically, if we look at labor, like human labor movements and things like that, when people are preoccupied with their labor, then they don't tend to form social relationships quite as easily. So if things like AI can take the labor out of certain things, then hypothetically, that would open us up for more interpersonal relationships. There's two types of, this is all part of organizational comm, which I love, and I could totally talk about it forever. So there's two types of labor. There's like thought labor and then physical labor. Essentially what there's different tiers. Oh my gosh, I could talk about this. There's too much. Oh my gosh, go back to the question. My whole head was spinning with so many ideas.
No, that's okay. I was asking, like, what kinds of labor does AI take off of us so that we can better form those interpersonal relationships with each other.
Excellent rephrasing. Okay, totally stealing this again. So it's going to take things off, like, so summarizing a journal article, for example, right? Like, I mean, sometimes if, and I think I used this in class the other day as an example, maybe, when I'm reading a really complex journal article in a discipline that I'm not familiar with, I'll copy and paste it and punch it into ChatGPT and ask it to summarize for me. I'll still read the journal article, of course, but then when I go back to read the journal article, I already have a better concept of what it's about and what that jargon is and certain things that discipline may be using that I don't know. And so if it takes that kind of work off of our plates, I think it opens up that understanding better, because then we're not struggling to understand it. And even if we think of, certain learning disabilities and things like that, I could really aid in some of those, right? Like creating reading outlines for people who are dyslexic, for example. So it really has some uses.
Hello, this is Pat Lynch, and thank you for listening to the Career Pathways podcast. If you want to check out some more, there's a video on the other side of the screen. I can't see it because I'm talking into a mic, but if you would go over there, there's an icon there. You can click and subscribe, and then you'll be getting the Career Podcast feed daily. So again, thanks for your support. Thanks for listening, and look forward to a lot more great Career Pathways podcasts in the future. Take care.